Lord of the Mysteries. Chapter 1024. Traditional Skills. Inside the palace above the grey fog, Klein, who was holding the sea god's scepter, looked at the Black Emperor card and the Tyrant card on the table in front of him with a heavy look. Although Viscount Stratford's answer could only prove that King George III hid a great secret, had played a crucial role in the great smog of Backlund, and was highly likely to be a mass murderer, it couldn't be said that he had spearheaded everything and was the true mastermind. After all, he might only be a puppet. But to Klein, this was already enough. The target was clear, and he had clues to investigate what they were planning. Seeing that Miss Magician and Miss Judgment had left the area where the abnormality had happened and were practically safe, Klein retracted his gaze and continued to observe the actions of MI9 Deputy Director, Konas Kilgore, via prayer vision. After a while, after securing the territory and confirming that no one was tailing him, Konas Kilgore walked to a mountain wall and took out an object. His entire body was tainted with a ghostly blue glow, as he gradually became hazy and blurry. Then, he disappeared into thin air, his whereabouts unknown. A rather special form of traveling via a corporeal ritual, or item that allows him to teleport from point to point within a very short distance. Back when I came out from the underground ruins wherein Sangwil was, I also passed through a similar door. Yes, this place isn't too far from the mountain where Mr. A pursued me. This setup needs a very suitable and secretive region. Without having any permission from the interior, just holding on to an activation item might not have any effect. And once something happens, destroying the corresponding ritual can prevent enemies from entering and stop them from finding the exact location. Klein nodded in enlightenment. Combining the information which Viscount Stratford had just revealed, he had come to the initial conclusion that the king's secret and the ploy by the three factions were all hidden deep within the underground ruins. As long as one entered, the truth would be obtained through a careful investigation. However, the difficulty in performing the investigations became apparent the more he thought about it. He had to first obtain the corresponding item, and using his disguise as a faceless to fool the guards, he would teleport in. None of these steps were easy. According to Rhodes, Konas Kilgore wasn't just a demigod of the Black Emperor pathway, he also possessed a rather powerful sealed artifact. Even if Klein had made preparations, his odds of defeating the Brigadier General of MI9 wasn't too high if he didn't seek the help of angels, much less finish him off in a stealthy manner without anyone realizing it. Furthermore, there were many difficulties in getting the help of an angel, as all of them had their own extenuating circumstances that prevented them from agreeing. Even if I take down Konas Kilgore without drawing the attention of anyone, I have to consider the danger that stems from entering. Based on what previously happened, it's impossible for them to not be on guard against the faceless. A cooperation effort between the king, the psychology alchemists, and the demonist sect guarantees that their ploy is significant. It's extremely possible that there's an angel within the underground ruins. Klein frowned as he was at a loss for a reliable angle for investigation. He tapped the edge of the long model table and decided to break out of the confines of his original thoughts and consider it from a different angle. A few seconds later, a flash of inspiration came to him. Why do I want to complete all these steps by myself? The king's secret and plans are likely detrimental to the three churches of Storm, Evernight, and Steam. Otherwise, the former captain of the Royal Guards, Mason Deer, wouldn't have attempted to inform the three churches. As a blessed of the Evernight goddess, at least for now, isn't it obvious what I should be doing? This can also count towards my contributions to exchange for the scholar of your potion formula. In an instant, Klein's thoughts became extremely clear. He left the area above the grey fog without any hesitation and returned to the real world. Dressed in blue and white checkered pajamas, Gehrman Sparrow raised his hands once more and made a prayer gesture. He chanted in ancient Hermes. The Evernight goddess who stands higher than the cosmos and more eternal than eternity. You are also the Lady of Crimson, the Mother of Concealment, the Empress of Misfortune and Horror, Mistress of Repose and Silence. This time, Klein didn't hold a ritual because he wasn't praying for a bestowment or response. All he wanted was to simply describe what Viscount Stratford had said, as well as his observations regarding Kona's Kilgore. Therefore, a direct prayer was sufficient. After praying, Klein exhaled and stood in a remote area of the woods, patiently awaiting the possible developments. In less than a minute, a figure suddenly appeared in front of him, like a quickly sketched portrait. The newcomer was dressed in a simple robe. By the figure's waist was a belt made of tree bark. Long hair cascaded down as the figure was barefoot. She had a pair of dark and serene eyes, and she was none other than the highest-ranking archbishop and leader of the ascetics, servant of concealment, Ariana. "Good evening, Ma'am Ariana." Klein bowed without any hint of surprise. Ariana glanced at him and returned the greeting. "Good evening." She didn't make any small talk as she directly asked, "Kona's Kilgore is nearby?" "Yes, less than 10 kilometers away." Klein pointed in the direction. "He has already used an item to vanish from his place. What should we do next?" Ariana nodded slightly and said, "Wait for him to come out and find an opportunity to capture him." Isn't that too direct? You look quiet and plain, a cultured person, no angel. Why are you so aggressive? If Kona's Kilgore didn't head for the underground ruins and had gone to some other secret base, or if he wasn't too deeply involved in the king's ploys, to have the church's archbishop taking action on MI9's top brass would definitely be breaking news. The kingdom's fracturing would only worsen. Klein was momentarily unsure how he should respond to Ariana. Although he would definitely attack Kona's Kilgore if he handled the matter himself, since the latter's involvement in the slave trade and the silencing of others was enough reason, the problem was that a demigod of a secret organization attacking a military top brass and an Orthodox church's archbishop attacking a military top brass was two completely different matters. As though sensing Klein's thoughts, Ariana calmly explained, "You will be the one taking action, not me." Klein was a little unused to her style. Ariana continued, "I will create a concealed world for you and provide you the necessary assistance." Battle in a concealed state. Fight with the help of an angel? Klein nodded with a thought. "Then where shall the ambush be?" Ariana answered succinctly, "In your Mager manner." "I share the same thoughts. But I didn't want to say it myself." Klein took a deep breath and exhaled. The choice for the ambush location stemmed from very simple logic. It was to do it when Kona's Kilgore was in his most relaxed and defenseless state. Without a doubt, once Kona's finishes his secret mission and returns to Mager Manor, he would believe that the most risky matters of the night were over. He wouldn't have his guard up. For the same reason, if the king's secret and ploy was of utmost importance, it was possible for an angel to be watching over him while he returned from the underground ruins. Once he suffered an attack, the angel would be able to immediately respond. And only when Kona's returned to his normal daily routine would the monitoring be retracted. After all, there were only a limited number of angels, so it was impossible for them to be so free. Thankfully, I used the most covert method of tailing him, and the distance was far enough. From the looks of it, Ma'am Ariana didn't place the responsibility of the battle onto me to avoid the risk and reduce the negative effects, but because maintaining a concealed state and preventing the existence inside the underground ruins from noticing the battle would drain a great deal of her energy. Amidst his racing thoughts, Klein had a better idea of how he should proceed. At this moment, Ariana added, "The concealed world's battle won't damage the real world." "That's pretty good." Klein muttered silently and said after some thought, "Then I need to immediately make some preparations." "All right," Ariana calmly replied. She didn't even ask me what preparations I need. I was even prepared to say that I need a change of clothes. As Klein lampooned himself, he looked down at his blue and white checkered pajamas. His left palm quickly turned transparent as he vanished from the spot. Inside Mager Manor, Klein's figure blinked into existence. Maintaining his appearance as Gehrman Sparrow, he quickly changed his clothes and wore a top hat. Following that, he took out a piece of paper and used his finger to write. The tip of his finger spewed out a scarlet flame, leaving charred marks without burning the piece of paper. The charred marks quickly formed a complicated symbol that was a mixture of concealment and mystery prying. With the formation of this symbol, the full-body mirror in the room turned dark as aqueous light rippled. A silver outline appeared, forming one word after another. Exalted Great Master, your loyal and resilient servant, Arodes, is here to answer your summoning. Do you have something you would like to ask me? Yes. Klein nodded and looked out the window. What demigod powers and powerful sealed artifacts does Kona's Kilgore have? This was something he vaguely knew before. After confirming that Kona's Kilgore was a target, he gathered more information and now wished to know more so as to prepare a strategy meant to target Kona's. The full-body mirror's silver words warped and squirmed, quickly forming new words. Great Master, Kona's Kilgore is an Earl of the Fallen. To hide his strength, he wields a sealed artifact that also belongs to the Lawyer Pathway. However, it also has some of the Arbiter Pathway's characteristics mixed into it. It's called Concerto of Light and Shadow.